Yo, what's going on, guys? J.Yumeko here, and today we're back with some more Cinderella phenomenon. I forget what exactly happened last time we left off. I don't think anything necessarily major happened. But we're gonna go ahead and continue and see what's up. Alright, I forget what happened. Ah, yes, I forgot. Okay, so the king, our father, we've basically found out that he's essentially being forced to, give up his throne to Sir Alcaster, I believe. And he has Ophelia hostage, and he did have Rod and, Emmeline hostage, but he released them, or they managed to escape. It was one or the other. Alright. The hours tick by, and as the tavern is empty for the day, Delora calls everyone together to explain what she and Parfait have pieced together about the situation. Alright, everyone, we've come up with some new information. The first is that Alcast has cracked down on the riots in town. Anyone seen protesting his rule is thrown into prison. The king always valued the people's opinions. Alcaster does not want opinions. He only wants to rule with an iron fist. Our patrols have shown that there's overall more security in the palace and around town. They've been charged with keeping people quiet in whatever ways they possibly can. As we heard from the prince and princess, things are most turbulent in the palace. The king is still alive, but it is unlikely he will stay that way for very long. One thing is clear. Given Alcaster's motive to take over the kingdom, I doubt he will rest until the king is dead. The king's men have turned against him, and even if there are loyal soldiers left in the palace, we cannot contact them right now. Rescuing the king and queen will be on us then. We just so happen to have people in this tavern that have a shot to rescuing them. Prince Rod is the key to a secret passageway we can use to break into the palace. Secret passageway? But only the king and the commander of the knights have the key to that passage. So how did he get a copy? Who's going to join us on that mission? Julian and Garland both volunteer immediately, followed shortly by Claude and Waltz. I'll go too. The room goes quiet as I step forward and volunteer. Princess, we can't just allow you to put yourself in danger. I look at Claude, who's staring at me shocked. I took up the sword so I could protect those I care about. Princess, you don't have nearly enough practice. But I can help. I still have time to learn. I agree with Parfait, Princess. The palace isn't the place for you to try out your newfound sword skills. Then you may as well chain me up, because I refuse to stay here while you all go save the king. Princess... Well, she has been practicing with the rest of us. Don't encourage her, Julian. But it's not like any of us can stop her anyway. You're right. The princess is quite stubborn. Claude agrees with Julian, but I can tell that he does not like the idea of me going along with them. If only we had time to get reinforcements from Karma's country. Karma's country? Brigantia. How is it possible that a Brigantian citizen can simply ask for reinforcements? Karma's the crown prince of Brigantia. There is some shuffling in the room as everyone turns to gawk at Claude. Rumpel, Anise, Scrold, and Ameline all look shocked by this revelation. You're the Lost Prince. Lost Prince. It sounds like such a tragedy, doesn't it? Anise suddenly looks distressed as she fiddles with her thumbs. All this time I never knew. I'm so sorry, Your Highness. There's no need for formalities, Anise. But... I am the Lost Prince, after all. I keep my lineage a secret because right now, I am just a normal commoner. But you're the prince. Couldn't you still ask for reinforcements? Even if I did ask for reinforcements, I'm pretty sure they would never come in time. Besides, I can't go back to my kingdom yet. He cannot go back while he's still cursed. The conversation continues in more solemn tone. Eventually, we start speaking of our plan to enter the palace. When the details are finalized, I repeat everything myself to make certain that I know what is meant to happen. Waltz will lead us to the palace, then... Waltz will lead us to the palace then, and Julian and Garland will follow right behind him, watching for the most immediate enemies. Leave it to us. We'll deal with any resistance before it touches you, Princess. And Karma will be watching them from the back, along with Laura. A witch and a prince for backup. Delora smiles wryly. Claw rose his shoulders. I like to think of us as more the closing act. Though if all goes according to plan, we will have no need for either the opening or closing act. It is a small task force, which is better. The smaller, the better. The last thing we want is to be noticed. We decided to meet again over the course of the next week to finalize our plan and carefully survey the situation in town before parting. Claude has taken to training me. Jurian, and Garland at the same time. Just the other day, he had all of us attack him together. Even though I'm nowhere near as good enough as a trained knight, I still managed to hit him once. I feel like things have started to come to some sort of conclusion, and yet I still haven't done 3 good deeds. Today we finalised our plans for getting into the palace. We've mapped out where the king and Ophelia must be in the prisons, where the guards might be positioned, and how we plan on sneaking in. I sit down on my bed and I'm about to lay down when I hear something. Hello, love. My, you're red. Were you thinking about me? I noticed that he has one hand on his chest tonight, but then he's been doing that more often lately. I notice it during my practices and sometimes when I catch his eyes. Is he sick? Darling? I shake myself at the sound of Claude's voice. What if I was changing? You could have knocked. Well, you didn't seem to have a problem when you walked in on me changing without announcing yourself. That's different. He strolls inside and steps close to me. He smiles at me mischievously. Oh? How so? Cat got your tongue. Claude shakes his head, his smile softening. I really didn't mean to come in to disturb you. I just have something important I needed to say to you. Claude kneels in front of me and furrows his eyebrows. I want to insist you reconsider going to the palace with us. As Parfait and Delora have said many times, it will be dangerous. Nothing you say is going to change my mind. I want to do what I can to help everyone. Yes, and that terrifies me. Terrifies you? If your stubbornness leads to you putting your neck out there for someone, I would never forgive myself for your injuries. If you want to help me, stay here, where you'll be safe. I'm not some damsel in distress that needs to be protected. Yumeko, all I want is for you to stay safe, so that when we save your father, you can face him with a smile. I won't be able to face my father unless I'm one of the people to save him. Stubborn as always. I sigh, irritation welling up in my stomach at the look on Claude's face. He's calling me stubborn, but he's been stubborn about this. You said I've improved with my sword fighting. You have. You've improved so much because of your resilience and drive, and because you're genuinely interested. It's because I have a good teacher. Your compliment is gentle music to my ears. Your compliments mean a lot to me, Yumeko. My eyes fixate on his soft smile and at the gentle crinkles at his eyes. Our eyes lock, and for a few moments I'm aware of a slight energy between us. I glance away hurriedly, not entirely sure what would happen if I kept staring at him. My heart beats unsteadily in my chest. Earlier today I comforted your sister when she started crying about the things that had happened in the palace. Emmeline, why would he comfort her? I saw her crying downstairs in the reception room earlier today, without anyone there. She's a rather sweet girl. I kept thinking that the two of you were completely different. You're both strong-willed and stubborn, but she wears her emotions on her sleeve, while you keep it all inside of you. I'm not hiding anything, if that's what you're implying. Mother always told me crying was weak. Claude stands up and leans forward. Before I know it, I'm in his arms. Yumeko, I'm always here for you. I feel flustered again, and my mind feels foggy. I can barely comprehend what's in my mind, or in my heart. So we have thank you, and I'm sorry. But I'm sorry about what? Okay, this has to be like... This feels like such a final push right here. I feel like saying I'm sorry might be the better choice. But at the same time, I don't know what I'm saying sorry for. Okay, I'm gonna interpret it like this. Thank you is like accepting his words, while saying I'm sorry is kind of rejecting them. Like, oh, I'm sorry, but I'm not gonna, you know, I'm not gonna be expressive about my emotions. I don't know, something along those lines. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and say thank you. That just seems like the correct choice here. Oh, yep, there it is. You never need to thank me, Yumeko. But you've done so much for me. It's not just the sword fighting, it's your patience, your company. You're saving me when I needed help. That's not true. I'm pretty sure I'm the most selfish person in this tavern. All I ever want is things for myself. I've never thought you were selfish, Claude. He puts a hand on my cheek and looks at me solemnly. You don't think that me wanting you is... Suddenly, he steps back, his hand at his chest again, his breathing heavy. I stare at Claude with wide eyes. Claude, are you okay? I'm fine. He sighs out slowly, but he sounds obviously pained. I'll go get Anise. No. I'm fine. I'm fine. I swear it. It's just a spell of dizziness. But you... He manages a small, tight-lipped smile before he straightens and shakes his head. His hands are visibly shaking. I must be tired. But Claude... Do not tell anyone about this, okay? I don't want them to worry. Why is he always so stubborn? He's obviously in pain. I clench my hands into a fist as I frown at him. Why must you always be so secretive? You're keeping something from me, Claude. I'm sorry, Yumeko. Claude abruptly leaves the room, leaving me with my fragmented thoughts. Chapter 9, The Rescue. Maybe we'll be able to finish this out, this episode. Today I will land another hit on you, Karma. If you can, darling, I welcome the challenge. Princess, your side is open. I bring my sword closer to my side as Garland strikes at me. Tonight is the first night I get to use a real sword as opposed to a practice sword. The sounds of metal clashing echoes into the night. Is this what a real battle feels like? We've been practicing under skirmish conditions for the last few days, since tomorrow is the day we enact our plan. We're doing some last-minute practice. Remember, fighting back-to-back is better than doing it alone. Claude notices Jurian's sword as he speaks, but I notice that he seems to be taking special care not to look in my direction. He's been fine for the last few days, but I'm not sure when his pain will return. If only he would tell me what's wrong with him. When Claude finally calls the end of practice, we're all exhausted. Good job, everyone. You'll all be fine tomorrow. Garland turns to face me, a soft expression on his face. And if it comes down to it, Jurian and I will protect you. Garland looks over his shoulder at Claude. Both of you. That's our job as knights. I'm quite capable of protecting myself, but I do appreciate the offer. It's late. We should all get some rest. The two knights excuse themselves, leaving me with Claude. Yumeko, you should go to bed. Princess? I have a feeling I won't sleep much tonight anyway. Be that as it may, you should still try. I'm about to retire for the night as well. I want to keep practicing, or I want to talk to you. Well, obviously we want to talk. I want to keep practicing. Nah, I think let's try and push him more about telling us what the fuck is wrong with him. Because it clearly has something to do with his curse, because he's clutching his chest, which is where we saw that big tattoo. About what? Claude takes a step back, and I stare at his hand absently, and I stare as his hand absently moves to his chest. Are you really okay, Claude? I've been perfectly fine this past week. He's lying. He's obviously in pain. Why do you have to keep your pain a secret? Why won't you talk to me? I've told you before that some things are better kept a secret, Princess. Claude sighs out, then leans forward to set a hand on my head. Yumeko, promise you'll stay behind me if we're attacked. And if at any point it looks like we may not make it, you're to run as fast as you can back to the Martian. But that's cowardly. Yumeko, don't you remember what I said before? Sometimes running is the right thing to do. Never run into an impossible situation. Instead, live to fight another day. Promise me you'll stay behind me. Please, Yumeko. Give me the peace of mind. Promise or not promise? Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Promise, right? Because I definitely agree with him. And besides, that's kind of the least we can say, right? At the very least, it's comforting. If it would make him feel better before going into this mission, I cannot deny his request. Claude's expression softens as he moves away from me. I'll stay behind you. Thank you, Princess. Let's attempt sleep in preparation for tomorrow. When this is all over, I'll pry Claude's secret out of him. Ooh, okay. So it looks like we really are, like, in the endgame here, huh? Tonight is the night, and everyone is just about ready to go. I can't get this feeling of foreboding off my chest. Everyone is gathered close to the door, ready to see us off. Everyone except... Princess! Rumpel suddenly appears, and he's coming up to stand right next to him. What are you two doing here? Then of course we came to wish you good luck, just like everyone else here. We'll be waiting for you tonight so that we can celebrate everyone's return. Be careful. Emmeline, who's been everywhere with her brother since they came here, is standing right beside him now with a smile. I would pray for your safe return. Her smile wavers, and I can tell she is uncertain. She has the great knights of Caldera, 2 witches and a prince. She'll be fine. Rod's response has occurred as usual, but I cannot help but notice the hesitance in his voice. Even though he stares at me without expression, I think I can see a tinge of worry in his eyes. Rest assured that we'll keep the princess safe. We're not going to let Alcastle get away with what he did to Angel and its royal family. Parfait steps forward last. She and Delora glance at each other, and I feel as if some secret message bounces between the two of them. Delora nods ever so slightly to Parfait, before Parfait turns to the rest of us. Her eyes eventually fall on me. You've changed since you've been here, Princess, but your dedication and resolve never wavers. It has always been there, just beneath the surface. Stubbornness or resolve? It is as if Parfait is able to read my thoughts. She smiles as she sets a hand on my shoulder. Your dedication is very much like King Gennaro's. You are proud and honourable, and always take steps in the right direction. That is why I know you'll be back tonight. Just as Rumpel said, we'll all be waiting for you. All of you. Stay safe tonight. I nod my head as everyone gathered around begins to repeat their hearty goodbyes. It is Laura who walks away first. We all follow behind. The night has just begun. Our way to the palace gate is uneventful, but we pause some distance away from them to take shelter in a nearby alley. There are knights everywhere. Waltz points to what looks like a regular section of the wall. There's a hidden door to the tunnels. If we time it right between the knights' patrols, we should be able to make it. On my signal. Claude puts a hand on my shoulder and squeezes. It's an abrupt gesture and doesn't last long, but the motion calms my nerves somewhat. We'll be fine. Our footsteps echo in the tunnel. Stand in front of me are Jareen and Garland, who are flanking Waltz. Dolores stands beside me and Claude is at my back. This small tunnel makes it seem like we brought a lot of people. This way.
We silently follow Walter's instructions. How is it that Walter knows about these tunnels? I've already taken into account the guards and where they might be positioned based on Prince Rod's information. We should be alright. Garl and I will act as distractions if needed. Princess, leave most of the fighting to us, if there's any to be done. I know. I will only fight if I need to. If only I wasn't cursed, I would be able to fight to my full extent. I think you're still quite capable without all your magic, puppeteer. No, a compliment. It's an honor, Miss Karma. I'm only in this dress because of Jurian, you know. Jurian crosses her arms and cocks an eyebrow at Claude. I wouldn't fall in love with you no matter what you say. That's what they all say. We're here. Suddenly, everyone goes quiet. I feel a lot heavier as I stare at the staircase in front of me. This should lead to the throne room. I did not know that we had a secret passage in the throne room. How much does Waltz know about the palace? Immediately after we step into the throne room, we split apart to avoid the guards' gaze. I sit close to Claude and Waltz as Delora conjures a blanket of shimmering fog that envelops the guards. I watch as the guards' eyes close before they slump to the ground. Delora drops her hands once all of the guards are truly asleep. Amazing how intolerant humans are to magic. Let's keep going. Getting through the palace is no easy feat. Hallways that were easy to get through before are difficult to traverse now with all the soldiers standing around. Delora casts a spell to silence our footsteps into quiet muffles, but moving is still difficult, especially with such a group. Eventually we arrive just outside the tunnels that should lead to the castle's prison. I'll stand watch. Be careful, Waltz. I will. We enter another tunnel of networks. Another network of tunnels. Jurian, Garland, after you. Jurian glances at me briefly, and then at Claude, who nods, a little stiffly. We'll be right back. In accordance with the plan, Claude and I are left at the hallway point of the tunnels to ensure a clean escape as Delora, Jurian, and Garland continue on to the prison. They should be fine, but I'm still worried. My eyes wander back to Claude, and I bite down my lower lip when I notice that his hand is once again raised to his chest. I find myself reaching out to grab Claude's hands, but he swiftly pulls it away. The glare on his face takes me by surprise. Why is he so angry? Claude puts a hand to his chest and flinches as he leans on the wall. Not now. His voice sounds pained. What is he talking about? Claude. I just need some space, Princess. But I'm fine. I cannot help but feel irritated at the way Claude snaps at me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be this way. He trails off, his eyes distant. Because of your curse. Right. Most of the time he's sociable and pleasurable to talk to, but then he reverts to this state. It's like he's two different people. I cannot understand why he's like this. Why do I care so much for someone who keeps secrets? Yumeko, I wish I could explain, but if I did, you would hate me. More accurately, you'd be afraid of me.
I could never be afraid of you. Why would I be afraid of you? So one is obviously like... The top choice is like, oh, don't worry, I could never do that. Well, the bottom one is like, oh yeah, and why is that? Which he just said he can't tell us. I think we should at least give him, like, benefit of the doubt here. Ugh, excuse me. So we're gonna go with, I could never be afraid of you.
What is there to be afraid of? Claude wears a pained expression as he looks at me. I see him once again grabbing at the collar of his dress, looking like he's in some kind of quiet agony.
That's what she said too. Wait, did it make me choose the right choice? Alright, here we go. I just wanted to make sure that I actually got that. Okay, so it just goes on the same thing.
Is he talking about that one woman from before? The one who didn't love him? He thinks I'm the same. I'm not like her. Yumeko. Claude's voice trails off at the sound of running. His hands move quickly to the hilt of his sword just as I reach for mine. We only relax when we see that it's Jurian, Garland and Delora heading towards us. Why are they alone? Where are the king and queen? They weren't in the prison. I have no idea where else they could be. Delora steps out from between the two of them, her expression somber. This doesn't bode well for us at all. We can't keep sneaking without direction. That's a sure way to get caught. The words have just left her mouth when the alarm sounds behind us. Don't tell me. It's the alarm. Everyone draws their weapons as Waltz appears, running towards us with a harried expression on his face. The knights are on their way. How did they know we were here? In seconds I hear the clanking of metal, and then there are knights upon us. We're forced to scatter to deal with different opponents. A guard rushes at me with his sword, and I somehow manage to block his attack. I should be able to wind around him. The knight falls after I catch him from behind, and give Claude an opening to attack him. Yumeko! Stay behind me! I promised I would, remember? Let's keep it that way. A smile flashes across his face, and for a few moments he seems more like the Claude that I know. A knight manages to separate Claude and I, leaving me by myself. He grabs my arm. Unhand me! I watch in shock as a shimmering fog surrounds my attacker, his eyes closing as he slumps to the ground. He's only the first to fall. Seconds later, most of the knights in my immediate vicinity have fallen to the ground. I can tell by the subtle rise and fall of their chests that they're asleep. Sorry, I couldn't focus long enough to cast that spell earlier. Delora drops her hands and turns to address Waltz, Claude, and I. Head toward the entrance hall. The king must be in one of the central rooms. Joey and Garland and I will head to the bedchambers in the east wing to look for the queen. Splitting up is not part of the plan. We don't have much of a choice anymore if we're going to get the king and queen out of here. We have to improvise. Now, go! Claude grabs my hand and jerks his head at Waltz. Sorry. Let's go. Three of us rush out and into one of the palace hallways. I keep my gaze forward while Waltz and Claude watch for enemies on either side of us. On our right. Claude grabs his sword and moves before Waltz and I can respond. He dives low toward a soldier, his sword poised straight for a devastating blow. Knights begin to approach us from the left and I raise my sword, readying myself. Waltz snaps his fingers, a flash of light blinding the men in the immediate vicinity, and I use the opportunity to rush the knights in front of me. I grit my teeth as I attack. Most of my blows are lucky. There are too many knights for me to be able to get the upper hand. There's so many of them. Well, if it isn't the most desirable princess. I whip around to attack the man that spoke to me, but he's nowhere to be found. Where is he? Who are you? I wonder. Yumeko! I turn to see Claude running toward me, a panicked expression in his eyes. I take a step toward him when a masked man suddenly blocks my path. Who are you? I raise my sword, but the masked man taps his cane on the floor before I can swing. An incredible pressure blasts out from the cane. It shoves Claude to the floor and blows me backwards. I hit the wall hard and my vision darkens. Uh-oh. Claude. I know we gotta stop it there. It's a cliffhanger. I know. But that's a good stopping point. I wanted to get through the whole thing today. Alright, so the only reason I'm stopping it here is because, like, my voice is, like, very worn out right now, so it's kind of bothering me a bit, and I want to be, like, at my 100% for this final part here. And also because, we've been going for, like, 30 minutes. That's a pretty solid amount of time. And I just have kind of a tight schedule today. But I promise you, the next Cinderella Phenomenon episode will 100% be the finale of Karma's route. And then we can move on to either any other routes. Because
if I'm being honest, what do we have? We have Rumple. And who else? Who else do we have? Who are the other characters? Oh yeah, Rumple, Waltz, and Fritz, I believe, are the other characters. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not too interested in them, but I will leave that up to you guys. So, if you want me to go through all of the other routes in this, we can. Or if you want me to just jump in straight to the sequel to this game, Cinderella Phenomenon Evermore, then we can also do that. So it's really up to you guys what you want me to do. So tell me in the comment section below what you would like me to do in terms of this game, whether you would like me to continue with all the characters or whether you just want to finish this route up and go on to the next game. But that's going to be it from me. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like on it and tell me in the comment section below what you'd like to see me play next. If you enjoyed this video or any of the videos or series on my channel, then I highly recommend that you hit the subscribe button and turn on post notifications so you'll be notified when a new one of these videos comes out. Anyways, that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one.